Hey y'all, we just fished Berryessa January 28th, jumped out on the lake right before the Niners game. And wow, that Niners game took a couple years off my life.
It sure did.
That's for sure. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear about that. So let's get into the fishing. First thing in the morning, it was actually pretty warm. You remember what temperature it was?
The water temp was 54.
Yep, water temperature was in the 50s. I expected it to be dropped down a little bit more, and it hadn't really dropped down. I'm not sure if the rain or something kept the water temperature up.
Yeah.
It was not that cold, didn't need thermals, did have a jacket on. It was cold on the day, and then
bibs.
Yeah. And then the afternoon was like high 60s, low 70s. It was warm. You definitely were as t-shirt weather. Other than that, watercolor with all the rain that's coming in. Watercolor, depending on where you went in the lake, went from not quite chocolate milk, but pretty muddy, to just kind of like a slight murk to it. Nothing was really completely clear anymore.
Yeah, Capel Cove, you had about a foot of visibility in Capel Cove. Like it wasn't clear, but it wasn't like horribly bad, but you could definitely tell that water's been flowing in there. And the lake did come up 5 feet.
It
recently.
did. The lake's come up 5 feet. Puda Creek, there's that stained water coming out from underneath the bridge. We did not go past the bridge, but it's definitely coming out from under the bridge, and it has a little streak that's actually running down the, I guess you could say, left-hand side of Main Lake. It has like a mud streak coming down it.
It kind of like, when it got towards the big island, you could tell it like it was like spanning out, right?
Yeah.
Like mid-lake is dirty, but if you drive past it and go to like to the north end, it's clear.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, as far as fishing wise though, we basically started out in one area, kind of looked at some stuff. Wasn't really any fish there. We were kind of in that stained water.
Yeah.
Then we moved out towards Main Lake and a little hump that's out there that's a community hold. A lot of people fish. And I was throwing drop shot with the Sorry Steve. That's watermelon candy flick shake in the 4.8. Started picking up fish in that 30-foot range. You were also catching fish. What were you catching fish on?
I was catching fish. I was using the Margarita Mutilator, MM3, in the 4.5 inch. And they're just loading up on it in that 20 to 30 foot range.
Yep.
It was a good time.
I actually caught a couple of fish. You're probably watching it right now. I caught a couple of fish screwing around with a depth finder. Like I just casted it out, and then as I'm sitting there playing with the depth finder, trying to get it to do an update, I look over at my rod and it's bobbing. So it basically dead sticking.
A true dead stick.
True dead stick. Dead sticking, let them have it, and they're just picking it up. I did feel a bite in the afternoon. We'll get to that. But for the most part, they just loaded up, got mushy.
Yeah, and decent fish. We were catching 2-pound fish. You know, it wasn't a bunch of dinks.
Yeah, 2 to 3 pound. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 to 3 pound class in there.
We caught a limit.
Yes.
There, and then we decided another boat came into the area. We didn't know if they're in a tournament. We were not in a tournament, so we just decided let's go find something else, right?
Yeah, figured we'd just leave them, let them be, and then the other thing is go sample around so we could let you guys know what else we found.
Correct.
What we did do is we ran into the Narrows. There's another little hump inside there. Fished around in there. I missed a bite again on watermelon candy. And then started running up shallower stuff because we kind of were wondering if that sun was going to start to put them up shallower. Through there, did you get any?
No.
Did you miss any bites on there?
I think I missed one.
I think you missed a bite on there. I did, however, pick up a Pro Blue. This is the +1 Junior and mega bass, and picked up one on there that murdered it. Like, he straight thrashed it. And that was nice. I haven't caught a jerkbait fish in a long time. Those of you that know me know that like 2 or 3 years ago, damn near every fish I caught was on a jerkbait. And I kind of got out of that. Couldn't pick up that bite. So picked it up on that. Again, that was like a rock point, basically, just parallel on a rock point. Next, we decided to leave the Narrows and head back towards some stuff up north. And what did we find up north?
Oh, we found more fish. There were definitely fish shallow. And there was definitely fish deep. We fished a rock point, and you picked one up on Sorry Steve.
On the same exact worm, like literally this exact worm, pulled it off the rod. I caught every drop shot fish off of this.
And I wasn't getting as many bites, and I went to
Morning Dawn.
Morning Dawn, yeah.
Chartreuse tail.
4.5 inch robo worm. And immediately I picked up a decent fish. Again, dead sticking. Just really picked it up, and it was heavy, and it was there. And they started chewing again, and we started catching more fish. Definitely out in the shallower water. And I think we caught back-to-back fish in like 4 foot of water, 4 to 8 foot of water.
Yeah, we ran to the east side. When we got back out to Main Lake, we ran to that east side first. Kind of the area that's kind of a community hole for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we're picking up fish in that shallower range, throwing drop shot. Threw some other stuff, some underspins and some other stuff. They weren't really reactive to it, but in that drop shot, and again, just cast it out, let it hit the bottom, dead sticking, you'd pick up and they're there.
Yeah.
And you just reel up. That is when I felt a bite, though, is I was actually kind of screwing around and had it kind of semi-slack line, and I felt it thunk.
Yeah.
So it was nice to actually feel a bite after the rest of the day was going. Active fish, it's just the bites were load ups. They weren't necessarily big thumps like you'd have like in the summertime.
Correct.
And then we moved up to that rock point that he was talking about earlier. And just kind of fished around that rock area. And then we sampled some other stuff.
There was some carp cruising around, you could tell.
Yeah, there was carp. That warmer day with all that, there was carp up cruising in that top like 4 foot, 5 foot or less, just cruising along the surface out in the middle of nowhere. There is a bunch of debris and stuff from that water run in. I didn't see any major logs or anything. The biggest thing we saw was a dock float, just a solo. Everything else was kind of smaller stuff at this point.
Yeah.
Not saying that there isn't something big maybe coming down the line. Keep an eye out for it. They're definitely with that water rising. I will say we went and sampled some stuff that we've been fishing in the December timeframe or early January timeframe, and they weren't there, or at least not in the relative of where they were.
Correct, and the water came up 5 feet to where that changes that depth level. The water temperature was different. Now, when we went up there, it was about 56 degrees. It raised a couple degrees. But yeah, they weren't the same as December.
No, they definitely moved. For the most part, they just went more towards the winter side, basically.
Yes.
So, again, we still caught fish shallow.
Yeah.
There's a big thing that in the wintertime, everybody's got to fish deep and slow. And even though we were throwing drop shot, we were basically power fishing drop shot up shallow.
Yep.
And that's a normal pattern that we can get. Our total weight, we're probably in that 10 to 12 pounds area. We didn't really knock it out of the park. Had a couple of fish that were getting close to 3, but never really went crazy with them.
No.
But it was a fun day. And we kind of got out of there a little bit early. That bite was actually kind of turned on in the afternoon. We got out of there at noon, I think.
Yeah.
is when we packed up so we could get home, unload the boat, and be able to watch the rest of the Ravens game and watch the Niners game.
Correct.
And completely pull out our hair for most of that game.
Yes, that was definitely rough. But Berryessa is still fishing good. Get out there. You could definitely catch some fish out there.
Yeah, definitely worth the trip. Talked to various other people, and they're also still catching them. Kind of doing the run-of-the-mill winter stuff. So definitely a good thing to run to if you're thinking about getting up there for a day or a half a day. We did start at first light, and there was definitely a bite window in that first light.
Yeah.
And then there was an afternoon window with a lull in between. So if you can get up there first thing, go for it. If you can't get up till the afternoon, wait till the afternoon. There's still an afternoon bite. So kind of typical winter.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. I'll answer them. You can hit me up on Instagram. And until next time, I hope you get them.
Bye, buddy.